out against an up-and-coming fighter from Coventry. Paul McGrath wearing the dark trousers, sizing up his opponent here. And some very sharp exchanges, I think, between the two men. Sizing each other up. McGrath far too cagey a fighter to commit himself this early in the fight. Leary evidently in good condition for this fight, and from the way he's moving at the moment, I would say predominantly a kicker.
At the moment, I think Paul McGrath is playing it a little bit dangerous as his opponent is taller than him, yet he's got his hands long.
And at the moment, McGrath seems to be doing most of the footwork, moving around, eyeing his opponent. And at the same time, Leary is flicking out these very long legs, taking advantage of what I think is quite a considerable reach advantage over his opponent. Striking to the body from McGrath. Not doing any considerable damage. Left hand again, and he almost got tagged with the left hook from the younger man. McGrath moving in very closely, then again avoiding a hooking punch. End of round one, and not a particularly spectacular round, but I think we're seeing two men sizing each other up, and the second round will prove much more spectacular. McGrath, true veteran of the circuit, fought at home and abroad. His brother Graham is also a very well-known fighter in the area and internationally. Seconds away in round two. And I think here we see in Leary somebody with a considerable amount of kicking ability, who is experiencing how hard it is to find a gap in the opponent's defences when the opponent is not only trying to avoid you, block you, but also to hit you back. Sharp exchange of punches. And I think McGrath caught the last one of the combination. There's a flurry of motion there from McGrath, but again, little effect on the younger fighter. These kicks flicking out from Leary and really having little effect because he's not putting them in effective combinations of hand and foot techniques as we see in the best of kickboxing. And McGrath's really not doing a lot. Oh, and there we go into a quick encounter. Doesn't seem to have left either man particularly injured. And both men just firing off these one shots, not a lot in the way of combinations.
McGrath needs to be a lot busier at the moment. He's the more experienced fighter, and he should really have stamped his authority on this bout, because Leary, he's inexperienced although he has talent, and he's too calm. McGrath's not hustling the guy out of his stride. He really has got to do that. He's got to throw caution to the wind in the next round.
And here we have the third and final round. For McGrath, a lot of catching up to do in terms of his work rate, and Leary obviously looking to dominate the final round, and firing a shot there to the head of McGrath. Obviously a flexible fighter who's finally found his range in this last round into the body.
McGrath needs to pick the pace up. He's fought a slow pace which suited the counter-attacker Leary, but the trouble is when McGrath does come and he comes in wide open, if he picks the pace up then he's going to make even more mistakes, and I fear that he might suffer a little bit.
And this doesn't seem to be happening at this stage. McGrath still very wary to commit himself, certainly with anything very effective in the way of his techniques. And kicking there and missing by quite a distance.
He can't because he's walking onto counters.
And a slip, probably the most definite slip I've seen in recent fights, as Leary slips to the canvas there. And, as Howard pointed out, McGrath is walking on, when he comes in attacking, he's walking on to counters, and we're seeing a very sharp counter puncher and counter kicker in the person of Dave Leary. And a bit of a brawl there, nothing in the way of clean technique. And Paul McGrath moving forward in his usual stubborn manner and unleashing some punches there. Oh, and that was a solid right, and I think that must have hurt him. I think, is he cut there, Howard? Round one. Oh, and a very quick knockdown there with a kick from Gravel, flooring the Birmingham fighter. Dillon has been on form of late, firing in some kicks, and he's known for knockouts with that right hand, and perhaps he's looking to do that in this opening round. Well, clearly nobody's fool, covering and closing in, absorbing the punishment. Ooh, and there's a solid right roundhouse to the body. How would you compare the styles of these men, Howard?
Well, this is a rematch, and Gravel won the first one closely on points in these native Wales. But basically, Dillon's got to keep him at bay and pick up the points. And if he can do that and punish him, then he can go for a knockout. But Gravel's very strong and very talented.
And I think we're seeing here that both men are exchanging some very ferocious, powerful techniques. And this bout seems to be as much a test of conditioning and stamina as of anything else. Look at Gravel pushing the man back on the ropes, and then the fire being returned by Dillon, neither giving an inch. And this promises to be one of the most exciting bouts of the evening. Solid exchange of punches. Both men clearly can take as well as dish it out. Well, the rather shorter man coming in low, covering well, and he really is moving forward all the while, coming in with those long looping punches, and if one of those connects, that's going to be all she wrote. And the end of round one.
It looked to me like Dillon's picked up some kind of an injury there. I think he might be cut.
Would you say that was to the eye or nose?
It looks to be around the eye area. I think one of those overhand right hands must have caught him.
And we see him there talking to his cornerman, and he seems to want to continue.
Yeah, he's cut.
Ah, yes. Is that on the right eye?
Yeah, he's definitely got a contusion there. It looks like it's leaking blood.
And Gravel's corner at this stage, unaware of this. Will this bout continue?
Graham Brockaway, Gravel's trainer, no mean fighter.
Colin Treasure in the blue trunks, more commonly seen in the full contact ring as part of the demonstration trio known as the Treasure Trio, but today proving that he's no paper tiger and taking to the ring with a highly rated Irish fighter. Now, I've not seen Colin in a serious bout before. Howard, how do you rate him technically?
He's very strong, naturally talented, Colin, and I expect him to go a long way because he's got a heart and he's always in good shape.
He certainly seems to be in more than good shape here. Very strong, stocky figure. Almost.
But Liam Walsh has got a fine figure for a fighter. He's tall and he's not skinny. He also looks very strong.
At this stage of the fight, we're not seeing much in the way of kicks, so I should point out to the viewers that under WKA rules, the fighters are obligated to kick above the waist, to kick continuously and effectively throughout every round. If they fail to do so, they will initially receive a warning from the referee, and subsequently will have points deducted for their failure to kick. So I think both men need to up the kicking rate. At the moment we're seeing a lot of punch. Oh, and there we see the Irish fighter downed. Walsh. What did you see what he was caught with there, Howard?
He threw a roundhouse kick with his right leg. Colin claimed it and hit him with a straight right hand. That's what you get for not keeping your hands up when you kick.
And we'll see whether Walsh has learnt his lesson. Walsh fighting out of Rocky's gym, Rocky Lawler's gym in Waterford, Ireland.
Walsh has come back even stronger, although hurt. He gave Collins some pressure then. Keep the shorter man away, circle and use the ring.
Tyson-esque build. Will be trying to come in from low to high with some uppercuts and techniques which take advantage of his rather stockier build. And round 2 is as frantic as round 1 was, with some fast exchanges of punches there. Neither man willing to give an inch. And this is really some high-class kickboxing we're seeing here. Look at these both men, alert, ready, they're ready to give it out, they're ready to take it.
Well, both these fighters are B-class fighters, and they'll be ready to fight for a British title. They'll be contenders within 3 or 4 fights, I should imagine.
We're seeing something now of their skill and of their aptitude for the ring. Neither man resting. But Colin Treasure had no intention of letting him do it. And as Howard pointed out earlier, Walsh finding out the hard way that you should not drop your hand when you kick.
Walsh now trying to move around the ring. Whether he's got the energy and the strength to do it after the knockdowns, I don't know. It might be a bit late. And he's caught with a heavy shot there again. He's got to stop going straight ahead.
I'm really impressed actually by the Irishman's durability. I think overall the Irish have proved themselves to be occasionally indifferent technically, but in terms of their heart and stamina, extraordinary. I mean, he's taking some serious shots here and just keeps coming back.
Over the years, Bay, time and again, I can take it from me, that's true.
And there he is coming forward again. Colin Treasure looking like he's not going to give an inch tonight.
Walsh trying to use the ring now, but he's not keeping his hands up high enough, and he's been outgunned. He keeps changing stance, which is always a bad sign unless you're well trained in doing that. And at this level, I've got to admit that I doubt that. If he can't use the ring standing in his normal left side forward, then turning to southpaw can't be any advantage at all.
Certainly these techniques don't seem to be helping him at all in this fight with Colin Treasure. As Treasure is firing these shots apparently at random, and I don't think Walsh has anything in his arsenal to counter the shorter man's attacks. And all he's doing is absorbing punishment, which I certainly would not like to be on the receiving end of.
I'd love to see a bit more variety, especially the punches with Colin Treasure. If he were to go to the body of Walsh, I think it might actually be all over. You weaken the body first and then the head must fall.
And here we have the 4th and final round of this match. And I can see that Colin Treasure is not planning to go out quietly. He's still looking for that elusive knockout. And I wonder if the corner man has given him the advice that Howard suggested, that he should start aiming these shots to the body rather than headhunting.
Walsh is in tremendous shape. He's got to be, because he's taken a lot of shots and he's actually picked the pace up. He's moving better than he has in the previous 3 rounds.
He's still absorbing these shots to the head though, and I wouldn't like to have his cranium tomorrow morning.
He's a tough fighter, Walsh, and all heart.
You really got to admire someone like that, but in this particular match, I mean seriously.